I took my Leica for a few days of photography in London, and I might actually have got some photos that I like. So yeah, I can do it. Here they are. My trip started just before midnight in Edinburgh. I thought I'd treat myself and get the Caledonian sleeper train to London. I was really excited for it too. I'd have my own cabin, and it'd get me into London nice and early in the morning. Admittedly, that cabin wasn't exactly spacious, so I squeezed my 6-foot 2-inch frame straight to the bar to drink wine until a bit past 1 AM. I took the camera, of course, and I snapped a couple of photos while I was there, including a fairly fun reflection selfie. Then it was time for bed. Note though, time for bed, not time for sleep. I didn't really sleep. Almost at all. So I felt pretty rough when I got to London at 7 AM and slow walked my way through the rain. But not to worry, I had an epic breakfast planned. Dishoom's bacon naan rolls are legendary, and they have never failed to perk me up, and it was just what I needed. That and plenty of coffee. Food firmly demolished, I hopped onto the tube and resurfaced on a rainy Oxford street. It was super miserable and gloomy, so in all honesty, I didn't really take a lot of shots here. Though I did find a few figures that made for interesting photos. I tried some panning with slower shutter speeds with cyclists and it didn't really work, but I do love this one of the black cab that's almost impressionistic in how it's come out. Anyway, I wandered across town, heading for the South Bank, where I had some work meetings to attend later that day. South Bank has always been rich pickings for photography, and today was no exception, even in the grey conditions. I loved this scene, using the bridge overhead and the dark shadow it caused below as a natural frame for the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben behind in the daylight. I think these shots work really well in black and white, and I love that small string of light at the top of the frame which just helps break up that big section of empty blackness. I followed the river downstream, keeping my eye out for nice scenes like this. And I made friends with a bird who didn't really seem too bothered about me being close up with my camera. Took a whole bunch of shots of it, but this is probably my favourite as there's nice separation between the beak and the pillar. Further down, I came to this scene, and while it's a nice enough view of St. Paul's, the foreground didn't really have a lot going for it by itself. But I did have a plan. By using a slower shutter speed, I wanted to turn the numerous passers-by into blurry shapes, and in so doing, give the impression of movement and of this being a busy, vibrant metropolis. I took loads of photos hoping for the right combination of blurred motion figures, but this is one of my favourites. Love that you can see that the figure is clearly on their phone, but the rest of them has just become this anonymous blur. I quite like this one too. Speaking of anonymous, I like this person with their back to me, holding up their cigarette almost as though they knew it would make for a great photo. Which it did. I then wandered into Borough Market and made a beeline for Monmouth Coffee to refuel with some delicious caffeine. I braved the rest of the market, but it was so busy I couldn't really be bothered taking many photos. My office used to be just around the corner, so the novelty of battling crowds in this place wore off years ago. Anyway, from there I had my meetings and it had a decent view, albeit with bad weather for it. I did at least take this silhouette of an exec who will remain nameless, because I'm honestly not sure if I was supposed to be taking photos inside this meeting space. Anyway, it's a cool shot. The afternoon turned into the evening, and then it was time for the main event. Seeing Lady Gaga at the O2. Honestly, she was epic. Probably one of the best gigs I've ever been to. Obviously, I can't play the music for copyright reasons, so you'll just have to sing along in your own heads. Papa poker face, papa poker face, papa poker face, papa poker face, lovely view of St. Paul's, cropping in slightly, trying to put the street lights between the buildings. Thankfully, the Hilton lets me check out at 12, so it's given me a few hours to quickly nip out, do a bit of a walk with the camera. Not really got the time to go much further than where I was walking the other day, around Bankside area, South Bank, but it's a very different day. We've got bright blue sky, as you can see. It's pretty chilly, but it is a lovely day. So definitely going to get some different looking shots than I did on the overcast day. Incredible smell of piss here, so that's nice. Actually really like the bridge framing St. Paul's here.
is a beautiful building. I love how it gets the light, filling the frame with the cathedral and buildings on the left. I love the orange and blue. For sure the colour is important to the scenes now, so that's what I'm going with. See, with a beautiful building like this, there are photos all over the place. I don't really want to just take a photo of St. Paul's. You know, what's the point? So I'm going to kind of circle around and see if there are some more interesting angles. Maybe trying to put some more people in the scene. Basically scout it out. I've got a little time. It's 9:46. I'll get back to my hotel in 2 hours.
The bells were pretty overwhelming, to be fair. But here I was exposing for that bright highlight coming in, hoping to turn almost everything else to darkness while getting just a sliver of light to carve out the form of that soul figure. And that's exactly what I got, and as a result I am thrilled with this image.
Try for a bit of a different composition, much further away, and putting him right out. He's moving. Wait. Sit back down, mate. Okay, well I got a shot of him walking away. Anyway, my hope is that because we've got the shadow around here and all this like deeper shadow over the building, I know it doesn't look that deep on this camera simply because it's quite HDR-y. I'm really hoping I can pull the shadows down and get just like this nice sliver of light going over it.
And that's what I got. And honestly, this is one of those photos that I look at and I go, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm so pleased with it. And it's not just because the elements actually came together, but it's because I actually intended to take that shot. I saw the scene, I saw the light and shadow, and I actually visualized exactly what I wanted to get. Usually I feel like I don't really have a clue what I'm doing, so it does feel really nice when my vision actually becomes the reality. Anyway, from there I headed up onto a nearby rooftop to try and get some more elevated shots of St. Paul's. I do quite like these. And here I used the glass wall to add some odd interest into the frame, and the result is pretty decent. And I also like this more abstract one that makes use of the fractured reflections.
Looking towards the pillars, some lovely light coming in from the right, and I really love it's a single figure walking across. They'll be really small in the frame, very minimal. I might have to wait a while. There are lots of people wearing some kind of American football top. problem is that very few people walk by themselves along here. They're usually in groups. 2 people together looks messy. Legs are overlapping. It's not a clean shot. I need one person. There's one person, but the bus is there. And there's other people walking. I actually don't hate that. This family which is walking across, they were all kind of separated from each other, so there was very little overlap, nicely silhouetted, and I think maybe the dad was just like reaching out to his daughter at one point. So that's a nice little connection. Although now he's just standing there by himself. Can everyone else leave the frame, please? Oh yeah, I think I've got it. Oh, my hair, my hair, my hair, it's all over the place. My hair, my hair, my hair, annoying my face. Again, great bit of highlight. Oh, we get these people coming in with a lot of traffic. It's going to ruin it. Can I time it just right? Sort of. Have some more people coming. I prefer a solo figure, but to be honest, don't really think I'm going to have much luck in waiting around a cyclist. Okay. Did I get it? Sort of. I think I got it with some gents in some American football t-shirts, tops, whatever. Quite a lot of people wearing American football tops, so I'm assuming there's an American football game happening, which must be incredibly boring for them. They should have gone to go and see Gaga instead. They'd had a much better time. I did. Current route planning is based on a coffee shop I want to go to, because my breakfast caffeine is worn off, because I've had very little sleep on this trip. Absolutely delicious. Maybe one of the best cortados I've had. So there you go. Oh, and look, some highlight. Well, I like the shot by itself, but I definitely need a person to walk in just here. Just one person while the light's out. And there's a car in my way. This is going well. I'm not even sure it was necessarily worth the 7 or 8 minutes I've just spent standing there waiting to take my shot. vaguely walking back to my hotel now. It's only down the road. I'll keep shooting away.
I was pretty done with my trip at this point. I did spend a few moments down in Southwark Station trying to balance my camera and take long exposures to create blurred motion, which sort of worked in this shot. And I got a few photos both at King's Cross Station and then on the train, which I quite liked as well. But I've got to say, this trip was pretty fruitful photo-wise, especially considering I was actually down in London for work reasons and to see Lady Gaga, which to be fair was actually one of the work reasons. But I do always find that I love trying to make the most of these little work jaunts by trying to actually do some photography on my downtime. And by having my camera just slung around my neck ready to go means that even if I'm just walking between meetings, I've always got it there, so I'm ready to go if I see an opportunity. It's not about filling a kit bag and planning a day to go on a dedicated photo walk, it's just about making the most of the little bits of time that I've got. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little video diary of my trip. It was a fun one, albeit certainly pretty exhausting, so if you have enjoyed the video then do please give it a like, and definitely do please let me know your thoughts on the photos that you've seen in the comments below. Would love to know if you've got any favourites in the bunch. Always fascinated to know if all of your favourites line up with all of my favourites, because usually they don't. Anyway, thank you for watching and I will see you next time.